I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Welcome back to Game Talk.
Sweet.
Game Talk. Did you record that?
I did.
Let's go. All right, I had no
Yay.
idea. I was trying to read your facial expression.
I said I'm
like,
recording. I said okay, and I clicked record.
I didn't know okay means I'm recording, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. I can do it again.
Take two.
But I already got
Let's
it.
go again. No, take two.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No. Yeah, we're starting over. Audience, hold on. We're gonna play the theme song again. Okay, here we go. Teddy?
All right, I'll wait for Spencer to say I'm recording.
I'm still recording.
Okay. Welcome back to Game Talk. Game Talk. It's fighting month. Put up your dukes and your hazards. We're going to swing them and bring them. We brought the games. You brought the questions. It's time to fight.
Wrong month for a second there, right?
It's right.
That's next year.
Yeah.
I might have a relevant fighting game that has to do with fighting.
Okay. Hey everybody. I wore a shirt from my favorite Smash Bros character today. Because I'm excited for this month.
Put up your candles. Put up your torches.
Call it to our boy.
Counter boy
Yeah,
And
never
his-
made it.
His
Not
tallness.
quite.
How is he not in a fucking Smash game yet?
Everyone's favorite NPC.
I got this damn shirt at Spencer's, not Spencer's, but Spencer's, and
I thought you guys
he has
Spencer's.
yeah, but not like Spencer's, but Spencer's. So I didn't go to Spencer's, but I went to order the store Spencer's. I didn't raid your closet. Still your Waluigi shirt, as far as you know.
They may not have it. Did you know there's another Spencer's store?
Oh, is there?
There's
Spencer's
There's Spencer's that does like the edgelord
streetwear.
stuff.
Yeah,
And there's also
that's-
Spencer's TV and appliance. I don't know if they have it out there, but they have it out here. So I actually get called two different store names.
Oh,
Wow.
no, I have a Spencer's Gifts T-shirt punch card, like you would like a sandwich shop. But it's like every time you buy a T-shirt, you're like, hey, could you punch my card, and you get a free T-shirt every like 4 shirts. So this was my free one. This was Waluigi. They didn't pay for it. I just walked in and I was like, that one.
That one.
That one. Give me the purple man.
Well, we all know now that Waluigi is Spencer's. Can we talk about Game Talk? What's a Game Talk? Spencer.
Game
Not our
Talk.
Spencer's.
Game Talk. I'll be the Spencer in this one. Game Talk is where we each bring a game and talk about it, usually related to the theme of the episode, which is today is fighting games. And before that, we answer questions from the previous Game Talk submitted to us by the viewers. You.
But before
Why
that,
do we do that? Why do we answer their questions?
I don't
Alex?
know. Oh, Alex.
to hear our answers be streamed into the void. That's the answer. But before Game Talk, we actually have a little bit of a game we've been doing this year, right? So we've been we've been trading months. This month was Teddy's month with Fighting Month, so his name is taken out of the wheel for the time being until next round 3. We're on round 2 right now. Me and Spencer are left in the wheel of names,
Mhm.
and we're gonna spin it today and see who gets it. I forgot you. I always
Spin
forget
it
you have
to
to
win it.
awkwardly. I always forget you have to awkwardly do this.
People can see all the wrappers I have underneath my monitor. I appreciate that. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Spin.
Spin, sir. Spin, sir. Oh, speaking of.
Oh, Spencer.
Speaking of Spencer's gift, let's hear what Spencer's gift is.
At the Spencer shop, what's happening?
Hold on,
Back to you, Spencer.
Jesus, Spencer. Jesus, you make me
Spencer's
sick.
Appliances.
All right, I'm the winner. So that means that it's July we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I get August? Oh, man, that's like my birthday. Hell yeah.
There you go. It worked out for everybody. Unfortunately, July will not be working out for anybody because July is Junkie July, where we only play games that are terrible. It'll all be all about bad games, bad movies.
I can hear Terry now. Alex already plays bad games.
He's the pro. Yes, only bad.
Right to Tobe.
Only bad games. We'll be talking about bad. Well, I'll save some of that for later. But bad stuff. And the map out will be, of course, the classic, ultimate game, everyone's favorite. Mario is Missing for the Super Nintendo. So congratulations. It's going to be a blast.
I might have to go missing for that one.
Me too. I'm calling out sick.
Spencer's by himself. All right, we'll do it. We have to. It's the rule. Kind of sad though, because you took one of my month ideas. I don't know if I was going to actually do it, but I thought about doing like a shitty game month, like doing like a what do they call them? License game month, and then doing like a shitty like Shrek game or something. But dang it, take it from me.
Quick.
Okay, well, thanks for something, I guess. We're going to ask questions from the viewers. What did they ask about fighting games? But first, Retro Tiburon, you were late, my friend. You asked this question for many month on the Halo Game Talk when we had already recorded. I don't blame you, but I'm going to ask it anyway. He wants to know, what is the worst handheld you ever owned?
I mean, I've owned a few of those like cheap ass handhelds back in the day that played like little LCD games, you know, like Tiger ones.
Yeah,
those are like I had one of them that played like I think it played like 20 games, but they were all like variations of like Snake and stuff, you know, like the kind of like I've owned a bunch of that stuff. But I'm trying to think of like actual game consoles. What's the worst handheld I ever owned?
That's fair.
Okay, so no Tiger Electronics.
Yeah, no Tiger, because like that's easy. That's easy target.
Yeah. I hear you. I can probably safely say the PSP was the worst one. And not that it didn't have good content on it, but I think especially in America, it was just very under-delivered in what they were hoping to achieve. There were a couple of good games, but I think in the end, everything ended up just being a little bit overpriced, and they kind of abandoned it like halfway through. So for that, I'll say the PSP. I know there's a big PSP fan base. I'm not considering the jailbreaking part because I certainly did that to my PSP. But if you don't do that, then it's, you know, it on its own merits, it's kind of shitty.
That's fair. I never owned a Sony handheld. So my only like authentic handhelds are Nintendo ones, and I think I've owned, except for the original brick, the Game Boy, I've owned the Color, Advance, the standard model, the DS, DS Lite, DS XL, 3DS, 2DS, new 2DS. XL, just standard. I don't even, whatever that is, XL. And the worst, It's got to be either the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance simply for the lack of the backlight, but I'm almost willing to give the Game Boy Color the benefit of the doubt. One, just based on memories alone, I'm going to be totally biased because, I grew up with it, I dealt with it, and I played a lot of Pokemon, my Atomic Purple Game Boy Color that way. But by the time I was playing Game Boy Advance, the SP AGS 101 already existed with a backlight, and I've gone back and tried to play a Game Boy Advance, and it's hard. But I do like it ergonomically, and that's why it's kind of a toss-up for me between those two. But, yeah, going back and playing without a backlight is kind of sickening.
I've owned a Game Boy, a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Advance SP, a DS Lite, a DSi, a 3DS, a 2DS, a 2DS, 3DS, 2DXL, 3DXL, 2D, Switch. That's a handheld. People look over the Switch, as a handheld. That's a fucking handheld. We're still in the handheld era for Nintendo. No, it's the original brick. I remember owning that thing back in the day, and yes, it was revolutionary for the time, but there's zero reason to go back to that thing now, because every other Game Boy console plays those games in better formats. They even did the game, which I actually own this too. The Game Boy Pocket, which was just a smaller version of the old brick, was better than the original. So yeah, probably that original brick. I played a lot of embarrassing games on it, mainly a really bad port of Mortal Kombat 1 and Miss Pac-Man. So, but I had it as a kid, and I liked it as a kid. But as soon as I got a Game Boy Color and then a Game Boy Advance, I chucked that thing out the door. Never touched it again.
But Alex, what about the Game Gear?
I have two of them. So I'm not touching the Game Gear. Leave it alone. It's said
All right, well,
I like the PSP. It's cool. I sold mine, but still, it is cool.
Yeah, I don't. It was all right. I don't hate it. He's just saying the thing we think is the worst.
Yeah,
It's probably the worst, I think.
You can watch movies on it.
In UMD.
Remember that?
Yeah, UMD. Hell yeah, everyone loves.
You got a good collection there.
Yeah, you had a movie
UMD collection.
I don't know anybody that has those fucking things anymore. Dude, it was so back in 2005 or 6 or whatever. I had a friend that got a PSP pretty early, and he had some of those, and he was like, "Hey, I was staying over at his house, and he was like, "Hey, man, check this out." And we were watching Jackass 2 on his PSP. Because his dad got him the UMD, and I was like, "This is so cool." And now thinking back, I was like, "Stupid! That was so stupid. Why'd you just buy him a DVD?"
Well, no, I mean, there's something to it because they, now people watch a lot of things on their phone, so it's basically the same.
A movie
size.
though? When's the last time you watched a movie on your phone?
Think about children, really young kids now. I think they grow up on that stuff. Which is kind of scary.
And if you go on an airplane,
movies are fucking terrible on phones.
It's nice to bring something on the airplane you can download too. So people download stuff from Netflix. People download stuff on YouTube if you have the YouTube Premium. I don't know if I'd watch a full movie on there, but I mean it is possible, and I see people do it.
Oh my god! Can I change my answer
to Game Gear?
I just unlocked something. No, but it is Sega related. I had one of those I've had two of them, but they were different. One was for Sega, one was for Atari. Those Games handhelds, and the Sega one, I had one for it played Genesis games. I had Genesis games built in, and then I put in an SD card and I put ROMs on it. It was neat for a minute, but something happened. I didn't touch it for a year, and then I went back to play it, and for some reason, all the buttons were stiff and chunky and would not click, and I clicked them and they were and I was like, what happened to this thing? And I it just set for a year, and then it used hardened for Pokemon. I don't know what the hell happened to that thing, but and then the Atari one was the same mold, but it played Atari games, same idea. But that one I left in my work bag, And as far as I know, nothing like it didn't get damaged or anything. And I was like digging through my work bag one day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have this thing in here for some reason." And I went to plug it up. It died. It's just dead. So it just didn't work anymore. So any of those at games handhelds, those are garbage.
Two things. Where's the Game Boy Mini? There should be like, you know how like
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of like, you could easily get 30 games that are like legendary Game Boy games.
They did these fucking things, but they're not
Yeah.
going to do a Game Boy, you know?
Yeah.
I say
But hey, if this is the Game Boy Mini, I don't want it. Don't do it on this little ass fucking Palm Pilot.
Well, it's got to be smaller than the original. That's got to be.
They'll make it.
No.
They'll make it they'll make it small, but like look like a Game Boy, right? So.
And then the worst handheld I would wager that's like a legit handheld would probably be that Game Boy Advance Mini or Micro. Do you mean
Micro. Oh yeah.
I never
that thing
had one, but I'm sure it would.
It was so. It's like this big, and it played. It's like the size of a cartridge.
Yeah.
And it only played Game Boy Advance cartridges. And
yeah, like
the
what a
screen
worthless piece of shit. Like
the screen's like that big. Yeah, it's like it's like those are like neat, like design wise. Like it's cool that they got that to work, but
he was a
functionally,
4.
yeah. Functionally, I don't want that. I never and like it came out at the same time as the DS, which played GBA games.
Right, like much better and bigger, and it's like,
why would you want this?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's good practice for your prostate exam.
Oh,
that's where I put that.
It's up.
It's like
There it is.
It's like the Jackass stunt where Ryan Dunn put the car in the condom and shove it up his ass. But I put the Game Boy Micro in the condom, shove it up my ass.
And then you got to beat Mother 3. That's the trick.
In my prostate.
In your prostate. Yeah.
Yeah. With your bowel movement.
With my prostate pushing the buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each cheek, left, right. Left is A and right is B.
There you go.
All right, let's get fighting. We got some fighting game. We got some fighting words here. These are questions on the Game Talk Mini Edition. The first one coming from the Cynical Gaming Blog Terry 309. Q, what fighting game should be adapted into another genre?
I don't know. I thought you were going to say movie, and I was like, none of them.
You could argue like as a movie. I don't know, but it sounds like you don't want to. So
a lot of fighting games get adapted to other genres, I feel.
Or they tried. Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat had like a beat 'em up. I'm sure they've had maybe more than that. But
it's had like 3 attempts.
Dead or Alive.
I will say I could go for a Marvel vs. Capcom movie.
That's not a genre though.
A movie genre.
That's a platformer, like a
Okay, Daddy.
the genre of movies.
Yeah, exactly. I want a book, okay? You know, Resident Evil has books.
It's a medium. That's a medium. A medium.
Yeah. Right. I spoke to my medium yesterday.
Yeah, what do you say?
Well, but there's a lot of ghosts in my past, but you know, I just I said let's roll with it, you know. Anyways.
Roll with your ghosts.
Yeah. That's the title of the episode.
We don't title these episodes.
Maybe we should.
We just start randomly titling the fucking episodes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I want thumbnail representation, okay? Anyways.
Something with Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive, I know they've probably done sort of pieces of this in like Extreme Beach Volleyball 2. I think they moved it out, but no, just like a Sims game or something where you just live with them.
They've been in a Muso already though, so can't do that.
Oh, what is it?
All Stars on PS4. I think I had the Kasami girl, and then also Ryu was in it. It was Tecmo.
Yeah, I would just do like a Sims game with them.
You just want the movies.
Yeah. You
He's
caught
a
me, Alex.
Yoshimitsu fan, actually.
You figured me out. Yeah, no, none of the males. None of the males will be in this game. Just me. I'm the only male.
I want the original vision for Shenmue, where it was Virtual Fighter RPG. That's what I want. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. We're now going to our question minister. BioPhoenix reviews here. He gets 2 questions as the prime minister, but his title is back up for grabs because this is a community discourse month. Check out the community discourse video for more. Anyways, what fighting game character has your favorite design?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like the PS2 era Sub-Zero because he has like a trident looking shredder helmet where it's really cool. And like I think that's my favorite Sub-Zero design, and he's one of my favorite characters. So probably that one.
Ivy from Soul Calibur. Just a mixture of sexy and scary.
Ooh, hey.
It's how I like it.
Yeah. Sign me up.
A perfect blend. Yeah. I'm a weeb. I like Ryu.
For you.
I guess I'm not weeb enough. Street Fighter weeb with the bandana and the buff arms and the maybe Street Fighter 4 style where like that's pretty cool.
What did he do? What did he look like? Oh, come on. There you go. Get mad.
Yeah, Rio, whatever it is. I like Ken.
It's Ryu. It's Ryu.
It's Ryu?
Yeah.
What if I just combine the ooh and the o? Then I can get away with it.
Ryo. That sounds very Japanese.
Rio. I like Ryu.
Ryo. 3.
Second question, BioPhoenix reviews here. Have you guys ever heard of Mugen before?
Yep.
It's a program where you can make your own fighting game. I used to mess with it a lot in the mid-2000s. Would be cool for a future video idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that make Mortal Kombat ones, and they add hilarious characters because the old style Mortal Kombat where it's all like photorealistic. So they'll add like fucking Ronald McDonald and shit into it, and it's really funny. So I've seen a lot of movies for that.
I've never heard of it.
Me neither. Now I have. Thanks, Turbo.
Those bio.
I don't think me. Think Bio.
Bio Turbo reviews here.
That's our son.
Speaking of Turbo, we got a question from Amazon.
I forgot what I asked. This is gonna be fun.
Scenario: the button mappers in its community are getting a fighting game. That's right. Ed Boon and the Mortal Kombat team are offering to make the game. Q, what's your iconic finishing move for Button Mappers Fighter Z? Question.
So you're talking about like the fatalities? Is that what that was?
Yeah, like what's your fatality in the game? What do you do?
Hit him with my car.
Teddy's iconic car.
Be right back.
I can't. Oh man, I can't watch a majority video without seeing his car.
Yeah. Everyone knows.
There it
There's
is.
some. Yeah.
Mine would be a very long, slow process of me forcing you to drink water until you're
Overhydrated.
You're just overhydrated and suffer the consequences.
I don't know. I'd beat you with a Game Gear, I guess. There you go.
Iconic.
Iconic.
Thanks, Turbo. Thanks, Bio.
Don't stop. I know we look the same.
Yeah, you're pretty similar, guys. You're brothers or something?
Yeah. One's from Kentucky, one's from Canada. We're brothers.
Long lost brothers. Separated by a border only.
This summer on Disney, the Border Brothers.
I knew a couple
They go
of
on a
those guys.
journey to reunite and claim their long lost brotherhood.
I'm Hispanic, so I know some Border Brothers.
No. Well,
Oh, you got
I was
the,
just
the
trying-
Southern Border Brothers. There you go.
I was just trying to. I
Or
was
the-
just trying to make
he's-
one of those.
He's a Northern Border brother.
I was trying to make one of those dumb like Disney Channel movies, you know, it's like not quite good
Yeah.
enough to go to theater, but like they're gonna show it on the Disney Channel, you know. It's like that weird kid that like was in drama class was really into it.
Kid grows up in Kentucky. He's the only one out. He doesn't understand why. It turns out he's actually Canadian.
The Canadian Kentuckian.
Can he get back to his home country and find out where his true ancestors originate?
I always knew I was a Canadian.
I really like maple syrup.
I want to see that Niagara Falls over there.
There's like an emotional moment where he's with his like parents in Kentucky, and they're like, "Why y'all drinking that maple syrup?" He's like, "I don't know."
I don't know what's
Son,
wrong
it's-
with me, Paul.
Son, listen, it's your 18th birthday. We got some tragic news to tell you. You're adapted.
You're adapted. Little Jersey. in there.
Adapted to what, Dad? I know the climate's a little weird nowadays.
No.
Is that why my birthmark is a leaf? No, that's just weird. You're just-
I always had a thing for mooses.
I could speak to the mooses. The Moose Whisperer.
That's an episode title.
Slowly evolving. I like this. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concept's evolving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta keep up.
Well, speaking of Moose Whisperer, we have a question from none other than Majority. Q. Smash Brothers now versus Smash Brothers then. Which do you prefer and why?
oh boy. We're gonna be talking about this a lot later, but
Yeah.
No time like the present.
all right. Well, I've said it before, but I prefer old Smash Brothers, and I mean N64. That's my favorite version. It's a lot simpler. To me, simple is better. I like that there's a lot of the characters actually can't really get back up from being knocked out. I think it adds to their versatility. So you can say like Link is a really good fighter, but just don't get knocked off because you're not going to get back on. Whereas I think in more modern Smash Bros, pretty much every character can get on from like seemingly impossible odds. And I just don't really like that. I like that there aren't as many characters and there aren't really duplicates except for Luigi. Whereas like in even in Melee, it's like, why is Ganondorf and Captain Falcon like the same character? Like it just doesn't really. I don't understand that. So for me, it's always been the first one, but I do like Melee a lot, and I like modern stuff too. I just prefer N64.
Yeah. I've grown up playing a lot of Smash. I've played a lot of every iteration of the franchise. So like, while I am nostalgic for older Smash, where I have been playing every single game as they release throughout the years, throughout my entire life, I'm at a point to where like I just appreciate where we are and how many characters there are and how it's like a celebration of gaming and stuff. So like going back and playing the other ones are fun for me, yes, and I have a lot of nostalgia for them, but I just love Ultimate is huge. There's so many characters and so much stuff to do in that game, and it's probably, I mean, if you ask me my favorite Smash, it's probably going to be that one until they top it, which they probably won't by this point. I don't know how the hell they could top that game in terms of the roster, at least. So new for me.
For that same reason, because there is so much, I almost get overwhelmed with it. Even the idea of DLC characters in that game, like, it's unnecessary to me. Although it's cool and like there's ones I want. Even number of stages, even that story mode, it's just massive. To me, Melee is like the perfect balance in this whole series of especially single player content. I love going through adventure mode with all the characters. I love getting the alternate versions of the trophies. I love getting the trophy through classic mode, through all stars mode, going and spending time in that freaking lobby, just putting play coins into the trophy dispenser. Oh man, there's so many good, just well-designed elements of Melee. And I'm not like a competitive Melee person. I'm not very I can do a little bit of wave dashing, but I don't really care for the meta or whatever. But as far as a single player game, Melee is the best bang for your buck. I'm a little nostalgic. I grew up with the N64 one, but I'd be lying to myself if I said it was a better game. But I would go Smash Brothers then. I think what they're doing now is too much, and I think it's actually I wouldn't say it's put a nail in the coffin for the series, but it's really left very little room for growth in terms of future Smash.
I think Melee is kind of a disaster. And I get that it has like a community, but the problem is the wave dashing. It's like it's either you're a wave dasher or you're not a competitive Melee player, because you essentially have to do that to be competitive. And I think that's really sad and annoying that it's like we found a way to break the game, so it's literally the only way to play it. I think it's really bad because otherwise I had so much fun with Melee. I'm glad that they seem to have rectified that with the newer ones. But it's just a shame that Melee would get tainted like that.
Yeah, the thing is though, you could agree to enjoy it, if you're with a communal fan base. Most people I know can't wave dash anyway, and if you want to play fair, let's agree to no wave dashing. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see your points about it becoming a little much for me. Where I have played every game and spent hundreds of hours with every game, it's Ultimate is building on. It's built onto every single game. So the new stuff in Ultimate to me is its own game, and then there's also the stuff from the previous games, which I've already experienced through the previous games. So
I would agree with you to Melee, but to me the original is so much different than Melee and the rest. It's to me it's the original, and then
the original is kind of. I mean, we're gonna talk about it for a map app, but the original is kind of junky compared to Melee and stuff, and it's has its own charm. Not junky in a bad way, but wasn't the fighting game experience that Melee was gonna be. It was just a weird.
Oh
thing.
yeah, no, they're completely different games. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, they're definitely different. But I think that was the original point of it. Was it's supposed to just be like a sumo game, and then they definitely took hold of it with the fighting game community and really pushed it out to what it is now.
I'm excited to do the episode. I've been doing a lot of listening to some podcasts and research about it, and there's some surprising history behind that game. So,
Smash Bros. 64 Brawl Out.
Yeah.
Hey girls.
Hey.
That's Kirby.
Hey,
he's one of the fighters.
If I had to pick my very favorite Smash though, based on nostalgia, it's probably Brawl. I think Brawl had a really good roster. Listen, I know tripping. You get tripping. Brawl had a great roster and a really fun single player mode with that co-op. I really like Subspace Emissary a lot, and it's sad they didn't bring that back in any form. I know, and they were going to bring it back for Wii U, and then they were Sakurai was like, "No, people will leak the cutscenes online." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that matter? Just do it."
Well, that's where I go. Ultimate is not really in terms of single player story content. I think it's a downgrade.
I agree there.
You could argue that Subspace Emissary adds on from Melee's adventure mode for sure. I understand that, but
yeah. Well, the Melee one is kind of short, right? It's never.
Yeah, but there's an arcade fun to it that I like. Just going through Captain Falcon's freaking, machines, and then also going through Hyrule Castle and fighting Redeads or whatever. Or I think that's their name. just like trying to find the exit. How fast can you find it? All these different little challenges. Like it tells its own story.
I'll tell you what, though, nothing will match the disappointment of Smash Wii U, even though that's a game I've put almost 300 hours into.
Oh.
Nothing will match the disappointment of the fucking Smash Tour mode, or whatever the hell it's called.
I don't know.
So like on Smash 3DS, you had Smash Run, which was kind of fun. It was kind of like and Kirby's Air Ride, you had the city mode where you like city trial where you collect power ups and then do a match. It was the same idea. You like ran through the Great Cave Offensive and got power ups, and then you did a match, and it was kind of neat. But on the Wii U one, they did Smash Tour, which was the big mode. It had a big old emblem on the main menu, and it's a damn party mode. It's a fucking party board. And it's garbage. No, I never understood how to play that game. Me and friends tried to play it multiple times, and every time we just halfway through we were like, okay, let's just go back and play normal Smash. This is junk. And
Do those two even count? They don't count. I couldn't even remember that I played it for like 50 hours. No.
They don't count.
They count.
I know. I just completely spaced on them even existing. That's how crazy that is.
I played
put
a
them in
shit.
the conversation.
Smash Wii U is probably the one I played the most of.
I did too. I played like 50 to 100 hours of the 3DS one.
I find it interesting that you guys are judging these games on the single player mode. I would never judge it on that. I would only judge it on multiplayer because I think that's the intended way to play it. And ironically, I can't even play the original in a way that I would like to because I only play on Final Destination. I cannot play. I refuse to play it with items, and I refuse to play it on any stages that aren't Final Destination. Or I'll make an exception for the one. I don't know if it has. I'm sure it has a name, but the one with just the flat and then 3 platforms.
Battlefield. Yeah.
Battlefield. Yeah, I'll play there, but I prefer not to. But I only play on those 2 stages. And then if I play in the original, I'm just mad that doesn't exist. I have to play on the Hyrule Castle only. So, but yeah, I don't like fucking around.
Stay tuned. Let's smash it up, boys. We got one more question here. Oh, by the way, if you have not left a question yet, go ahead and leave a question for Ugly Month. It's going to be Ugly July.
Junkie Month.
Junkie
July. Junkie Month.
Questions about shitty games.
Grab your popcorn and type on the keyboard.
Alex he just has to talk about the Sonic game he played last. I already did that for Game Talk Live.
Now Terry can't ask a question. You're taking it.
I'm just raring up for the comment because I know it's gonna fucking be there.
Wheels turning. So wheels spinning. Alex is gonna be on it. Anyways, all right. Tyler has the last question. What non-fighting related franchise would you like to see made into a fighting game?
This one's tricky because if you consider Smash Bros. Like any character that's in Smash Bros. As being in a fighting game, then you've just ruled out like a ton of huge characters. I would prefer that we didn't, but I'm down to if you guys think that
I'd
counts.
prefer if we did.
Oh shit.
Well, Kirby has gotten its own spin-off fighting games, so like it is possible to do that.
No, Smash doesn't count.
Okay, Smash doesn't count. Okay.
Jaws.
Jaws?
Jaws.
Did you say Jaws?
James Bond. I want James Bond.
Okay, well, at least there's characters in James Bond.
There's characters in Jaws. Don't come on.
You think they're gonna fight the shark?
There's an amazing character.
You all team up.
It's
the shark versus the world.
One really good character in Jaws.
It's a bunch of shitty humans on a beach versus a shark.
Hell yeah.
Seems a little unfair to me.
I think Zelda has enough characters that you could make a compelling fighting game out of it. Enough unique characters, I guess. I don't know if it's understood on this channel. I don't really like fighting games, so my answer to that will be equally lame. Zelda.
Just because they never did it, I want the damn Microsoft Smash Bros. Because Sony did their one on PS3. I want to see what the hell they would do with all their weird characters and stuff.
How many do they have?
I mean, they own a bunch of stuff now. So technically, they have a lot. I mean, if you throw in all the Activision
Yeah,
and Bethesda stuff,
But
and
that
Rare,
wouldn't. I don't know. That just wouldn't feel the same to me.
they own it. It's officially Xbox Studio property.
I mean, now, but it just like. Well, I think the reason that like the Smash Bros and the PlayStation ones are so interesting is because of the history behind it, and there's literally like no history with Microsoft on that. It's just like they're here now. Put them in.
The PlayStation, dude, the PlayStation one, which I bought that one when it came out, the PS All Stars one. I still have that copy. I bought it at release, and like it's not a terrible game, but that one's so interesting because the team behind it had such a hard time developing that game because they were a brand new team tasked with making a Smash Bros. Level game, and they literally like they have records of like they like one of the employees was talking about they went to Square Enix to be like, hey, can we get Cloud for our game? And Square Enix was like, no, we don't trust you. You're not a team. Like we don't know who you are. So you know. It was
Right.
like, oh shit, you know. So like that
Nice.
game's so interesting.
And that's going to do it for questions. Alex, can you wrap up the episode here?
Is James Bond your answer?
No, James Pond on
James
Sega Genesis.
There's
Thank
even
you.
less characters. Is
They're
Jaws
frogs.
Is Jaws going to be the guest
Yeah.
character in the James Bond fighting game?
Yeah, he's a final boss, like Seth in Street Fighter.
Yeah, Jaws. This is
He's
James
like-
Bond.
He just has all the frog abilities.
But he's a shark.
Exactly.
That's even the frog
King
ability.
of the sea.
He should have the shark
Hop.
abilities.
He can lick.
Well, speaking of lick,
Kick.
it's time to lick and seal this episode shut because that's the end of the
All right,
episode,
goodbye,
right?
everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Son of a bitch.
I saw that.
No. My damn Mario Game & Watch. It's my copy of Mr. Run and Jump.
On today's
And it is
episode of Alex
devious.
Alex has things on his shelf, and he's going to show us. Let's see what he shows us today.
Something's going to fall over. Teddy left. Teddy's going to take a walk around.
He's walking around his room now.
Does he know he left the camera on?
Probably not. Probably gonna catch him in his unawares.
In his underwears or his underwears?
I said unawares, but potentially his underwears. This keeps going this way.
Look at him. What's he doing back there?
Those guns. Yeah, he's sculpted. He's powerful.
Ooh. He's getting ready for his fighting game introduction.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice.
Okay,
Windmills.
now he's just
Love it.
windmill.
Yeah. Getting limber.
Is this what the wrestlers do?
No.
Where they go wrestling?
No, they do very intense stretching.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. I think they do this.
Do you think they do this? Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's certainly possible.
I was asking you, but I already knew the answer.
No, they do this. No, they don't. I know what they do. They do this.
Oh. It's Spirit Bomb. That's what he's doing.
Praise the sun.
People of Earth, give me your energy. Dragon Ball.
Yeah, sure.
See, he did a little Michael Jordan for a second there. He's gonna like spinning around. I was kicking. Oh man, he's acting like it's Kirby. Do to Kirby.
I cannot wait for the podcast listeners to hear this.
Do you think Kirby would be that big if he was real?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable size.
That's a reasonable.
Maybe a
Kirby
little
size.
bit smaller, but I think that's reasonable.
From this angle, it looks like he's just holding an orange, like a really big orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you have to peel it, Teddy. You have to peel the orange.
You don't have to. You can eat it. I've known people.
You're a
that eat it.
madman. They're madmen.
They are mad.
And not,
They're insane.
and not the show madmen.
They are the show madmen.
Teddy, you ate the orange. Dang. Okay, give a round of applause to Teddy and his performance. That was our mid-show performance by Teddy.
That was an intermission, you could say. Remember we tricked Daniel into having an intermission?
Oh yeah, he like went to the bathroom.
Yeah, in the middle of the podcast.
That was pretty good.
The difference was that was intentional. This one.
Yeah. Well, here we are. Game Talk, where we talk about games. And I take it today we all have fighting games to talk about. Teddy, it's your month, man. Who's going?
You are, viewer. Thanks for watching. Now I'll see you later. No, I'm joking. Alex, you're up.
Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fighting Month. And if you've been around this channel for a long time, you should know that I am a fan of fighting games. In fact, unless I'm wrong, I might be the only person that's actually done a good number of fighting games on this channel. So I'm here to talk about a fighting game, which isn't hard for me to do. Back at the beginning of the Button Mapper's life, back in 2019, that October, Teddy and I did a special episode called Gothic Edition. Teddy talked about Castlevania 4 or something. Or no, not 4. Castlevania Bloodlines, I think. And I talked about Mortal Kombat 11. I was very excited for that game at the time. I praised it. I had a lot of fun. And today I'm here to talk about the new Mortal Kombat at the time of this recording. It came out last year. Mortal Kombat 1. Played this. I want to give a little bit of a rundown on the history of Mortal Kombat before I talk about it, because it is relevant to this game. Mortal Kombat is, of course, classic fighting game. Came out in 1992, just called Mortal Kombat. It had sequels, Mortal Kombat 2, 3, 4, and then 3 games on the PlayStation 2 that all kind of had their own narrative leading up to Armageddon. After Armageddon, they were like, shit, what do we do? That was literally the end of the world. So they rebooted the series with a narrative with time travel where Raiden sent himself a message back in time. And that reboot, now people call it MK9, but really the game is just called Mortal Kombat. And after Mortal Kombat, they did Mortal Kombat X and 11, which were all their own narratives. But something funny happened in Mortal Kombat 11. It was also about time travel. And there was this lady named Chronica who was like controlling time and stuff, and people wanted to kill her. And at the end of that game, spoilers, Liu Kang beat her and became a elder god. Basically, he controls time now. So they rebooted the franchise again with Mortal Kombat 1, and this is where we are. Mortal Kombat 1 is Liu Kang, Fire God Liu Kang's new timeline. It's a really cool idea on paper. I was really excited for this game because it's their chance to take the established Mortal Kombat world and characters and make a whole new version of the story and versions of these characters. Do they succeed? Sorta. Mortal Kombat 1 is a game that is the first in its own, I guess, new timeline, even though it does connect to the previous games. It follows Kung Lao and a human version of Raiden, who are training under Fire God Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat tournament. It tries to mix things up, like for Raiden is a human in this version. The evil character Shang Tsung, who's usually the bad guy in a lot of the games, is like a street potion peddler. Shao Kahn, who's like Shao Kahn, who's the big emperor guy. He's like General Khan in this, so he's not even an emperor anymore. They try to turn things on its head, and it's very cool at first. They take some of the lesser-known characters from the PlayStation 2 era and like basically make them new characters, give them new powers and abilities and like designs. And I was very excited for this title. The gameplay is great. The game looks fantastic. The story mode is fun. My biggest downside with this title comes with two things, and both of them feel like they were maybe WB intervened. I'm not sure about this, but it felt like the game wanted to do more with these concepts, and they didn't get a chance to. The first one is the fact that it is a live service game. So you do pay you pay full price for it, and there is DLC. There's a mode called Invasions mode. Now, Mortal Kombat games are usually pretty good at giving you a significant amount of single player content beyond just the story mode. This game doesn't really do that. You get the story mode, you get the arcade ladders, and then you get Invasions mode. Invasions mode is like a map, and you run around and do some missions and stuff. But it's updated seasonally. So like right now they're on season 5, and it's about like an evil version of Raiden and stuff. And it's fine. You just kind of do the missions and you're done with it, and then you wait for the next season. And that felt like WB was really pressuring NetherRealm to be like, hey, you need to do live service with this one. So they like half-assed it into the game in some way. And I'm not a huge fan of that mode. It doesn't compare to any of the previous modes. Even in Mortal Kombat 11, that one had the Crypt mode again, which was huge, and it was like a big island you explored and stuff. It was very cool. And this Invasions mode is nothing, compared to the previous versions. The other thing is that the story starts off very cool with these new creative versions of Mortal Kombat pre-existing characters and cast. The problem is that they don't go far enough with the idea, and the idea kind of folds in on itself near the end, where at first you think it's just going to be a story about Liu Kang's new clean timeline, clean slate, we're starting over. But actually it's a multiverse story, which I am sick of seeing. Because everything does multiverse stories now. After Marvel started doing all the multiverse stuff, everything does multiverse stuff. So at some point, it becomes about the characters fighting over the multiverse, and different versions of characters from different timelines start popping up, and it just becomes stupid by the end of the game. And like they half-ass some like plot points from the PS2 games back into this game. Just to, I guess, for like nostalgia's sake, because people are kind of nostalgic for that era now. It's just funny because that's like the least popular era of Mortal Kombat. And I felt like by the end of the narrative, I felt like the game was just a little confused on what it was even trying to do. Because that's not at all how the game was even sold to the public. But with that said, the gameplay is really good. They added a new mechanic to the core gameplay. It's still a one-on-one fighter, but they added a tag mechanic similar to a team-based fighter, like Marvel vs. Capcom or something, or like Dragon Ball Fighters. In those games, the characters you have on reserve can come in and do like an assist move off screen. So they added these things called cameos. So basically, you're still playing as one character. You pick Sub-Zero or whoever, and then you pick your cameo character, which they add like some more obscure characters in for fun. So you could pick Sub-Zero, then your cameo character can be Striker from Mortal Kombat 3. So while you're fighting, you can push your right bumper, and then the assist character will come in and do a move to assist you, and then go back off the screen. Neat idea. It changes the way you think and play about Mortal Kombat in a fun way, and it is a really fun mechanic. And the gameplay is really good. I don't want to take that away from the game. I'm just not as enthused with this game as I normally am Mortal Kombat, which is very strange because I followed the entire series up to this point, and this is the first time in any of these newer era games where I haven't bought a shred of DLC. Mainly because I feel like they're also confused on the the good DLC roster, because I don't know how the hell they thought following up Mortal Kombat 11's like RoboCop and Terminator and Rambo with like Omni-Man and the guy from The Boys, I don't know his name.
Homelander.
And Homelander and John Cena's Peacemaker was like they were equivalent to that, because that's not very exciting to me. I know those characters and like that anti-heroes, like those like anti-hero comic characters are popular, but like they just aren't on the same level as like the previous guest characters to me. So even that stuff, I haven't bought any of it. I've heard John Cena actually came in and did voice work for this game and like stuff for Peacemaker, which is cool. And I'm glad people, if they're a fan of him and stuff, I'm glad that like they have that. But I don't know. I'm just not as enthused with this title. I played it on Steam Deck because funny story, when I bought Mortal Kombat 11 originally, I think I talked about this in that episode. I bought it on the Switch, and it looked like absolute shit. So I took it back and bought it on PS4. So when this one was coming out, I was like, I have a second chance to play handheld Mortal Kombat. So I bought it on Steam in preparation to play it on the Steam Deck, which I'm glad I did because if you go online and watch comparison videos between the HD version and the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1, it is hilarious because the Switch version looks like a PS2 game. It's bad. It looks it's like I almost want to buy it on Switch at some point just to have it, just to look at it because it's so crazy that like that even released. But so yeah, playing in handheld's been fun. It is a fun fighting game, but I'm just didn't like the direction of this title overall.
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's probably the reason you're not as enthused is it seems like it's more directed towards a younger audience. I think they're trying to get more hip kids into it, hence the games as service approach, the Homelander, the whatever that John Cena character with Peacemaker, I think. Yeah, those are more geared towards modern viewers of media. Yeah, they're certainly not in the leagues of RoboCop, but also in the maybe because it's like those are more for us old people that remember that stuff, where that stuff's relevant.
It just feels weird because like Mortal Kombat X had like all the horror characters, so like Jason and the Xenomorph and Predator and stuff like that stuff fit, and then in the last one they did all the '80s movies characters and like that stuff fit. So it was like
comic books, man.
I guess, but they have a whole game they have the Injustice stuff for that, right?
For DC,
why did they do
The pool's running dry.
Yeah, but that's the same studio though. That's another realm. So why didn't they just wait and use those characters in the Injustice title or something? I have no clue. It's so strange.
Is this the one remake or Mortal Kombat 1? Which one is this?
Mortal Kombat 1. It's just called Mortal Kombat 1. I know, it's confusing. That's why I explained the entire timeline. And there's already 2 previous games called Mortal Kombat. So this is called Mortal Kombat 1, but it is not a remake. It is a brand new entry in a new timeline.
Yeah, that's confusing because I thought that this was a one remake, and I never played the first Mortal Kombat. So is it fair to call this the Mortal Kombat game that lied to you?
Kinda. Like I said, the marketing was focused on, oh man, they restarted the timeline at the end of the last game, which we knew that was going to happen because the way that game ended. And it was like, oh man, this is going to be a crazy new timeline. And then they quickly, by the end of the game, they were like, oh, just kidding. There's a million timelines, and they're all converging on each other. It's like, well, that's not what you. That's not what you sold me.
I will challenge you on that because I'm literally watching the trailer for it, and maybe it seems like there are multiple trailers. So I forgive you if you missed this.
I'm talking about the earliest trailer, like when they first showed the game.
Because the one I'm watching, it says the official launch trailer, and it specifically has 2 different versions of Johnny Cage fighting each other.
Yeah, that's later. But I'm talking like when they first showed the game off. They showed like this cool trailer of like human Raiden and like a field, and like they showed like Johnny's mansion and stuff, and it was like, oh, a fresh new take on a new timeline,
Gotcha.
They didn't mention any of this multiverse shit. It's a tired idea at this point, man.
Yeah, I don't even think it's good in Marvel. I don't like what they're doing either. So I really don't understand why everybody's. I can understand why they're doing it from like a historical perspective because they have all this content. It's like, how do we use this back library of nonsense? And it's like, just make a multiverse and throw them all in there. It's like, okay. So like, I get it, but
the roster itself it's fine. There's not a lot of there's no new characters for one. They reuse characters from previous games. Like I said, they took some of the PS2 era characters and like reinvent them. So I guess those are kind of new characters with the same name as the old characters. Which some of them work. Like one of my favorites is a girl named Lee May, and she does like firework attacks, and like one of her fatalities, she literally launches your head up in the air and like it explodes like a firework. Like that's fun. There's also Natara, who's a vampire from Deception, I think, and now she's back and she's voiced by Megan Fox, and it sounds like she could not give a fuck that she's in a fighting game whenever she's reading her lines. It's actively distracting anytime she pops up in the story mode or I'm fighting somebody with, and like they're playing as Natara. It takes me out of the experience to hear her voice lines because she is not a voice actor. So I get they wanted the star power, but it's such a minor character anyway. But it's so bizarre to hear her in the game.
Well, looks nice. Graphics are good.
Oh, visually it's great. It looks, I mean, that team always knocks that out of the park, and like the environments are fantastic and stuff. And I can see them building upon this game, and it's cool team, like the cameo attack, mechanic and stuff to like make a cool sequel and stuff. But I was super excited for this game, and it let me down a little bit. So
Yeah, I'll always have an appreciation for this game because I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I've hung out with the people that made the original Mortal Kombat. I got to like do some panels with them and through some expos, and it was interesting to hear their stories about creating the game and all the stuff they did. And it's interesting to just see like how far it's come from there. I know one of them just recently left. I think for 11, he may have done some work on that and then left. But otherwise, they're all gone at this point. But yeah, just the amount of motion capturing, you can sort of see it here that they were able to still do, and just take it straight from the original is so fascinating. I wonder if this was how they imagined it all these years later.
probably, I mean, that original the original Mortal Kombat started life as a adaptation of, I forget which one of the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies back then. And then so like they were kind of seeing it like, so it was meant to be sort of cinematic. So, probably. But I mean, and like it still looks good, and the story is still fun to play through. It just, I don't know. It was just, this is their fourth one of this style now after MK9. They did like all those, they went back to 2D and started doing the story modes. And I just felt like this one's tapering off a little bit. And I feel like with the next one, they really need to shake things up and do something else. Just, like, am I going to get excited for seeing Johnny Cage and Scorpion for the 100th time? Like, probably not. Like the story ends with another Shang Tsung villain story, and it's like, well, we've done that 100 times. It's like, God damn it! It's like I wanted something cool.
It sounds like this was a step in the right direction. I mean, because it gets a different angle. Like, oh, let's do Liu Kang as the sun god. Like, that's different. It's just a shame that execution-wise, it didn't meet your needs.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people that did enjoy it, and for you people, congratulations, that's awesome. But for me, as a longtime fan, I was just hoping for something different, man. And this didn't give me that. The characters I do like are the ones that are reinvented. Like I really like Reptile in this game too, because Reptile in previous games has always been like a man who's also a lizard. Like at the same time, he looks all scaly and gross. This one, they did a cool thing with it. He's a guy. He is a big lizard that can shapeshift into a man. So like mid attack, he'll go from being a person to being this big giant lizard, then back to a person and stuff. And like it's really cool how they did that with that character. And I was like, that's more of what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him like reinvent a lot of the characters in new ways, and not just be like, oh, it's Johnny Cage. Isn't he a funny asshole? It's like, well, yeah, yeah, I guess he's always been a funny asshole.
Has his movie come out yet?
Johnny Cage. I forget what his Ninja Mime was the name of the in-universe movie. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Oh my God, the original.
Oh no, they were doing an animated one too, I think.
This isn't that either. The original Johnny Cage was making a movie about like Johnny Cage in the future. And
you told us about that. The fan thing?
Yeah, it's so fucking bad. It's hilarious.
Well,
I was cringing the entire time. It was so funny.
Sorry, what's funny is that they've been doing straight to DVD like animated stuff, and they did a Johnny Cage one recently.
Yeah, I saw that because I saw it on the like one of the streaming services, and I was like, what? And I was telling my girlfriend like, we have to watch this. It was so funny. And then it was like, it was something else, and I was oh bummer. That's not the one I'm talking about.
Damn it!
You'll know it when you see it. It's fucking so bad.
Yeah, that was my game. I can appreciate it, but it just kind of let me down a little bit. Well,
All right, Alex, thank you. Your pick, me or Spence?
on a you know what? I want Spencer to go next because he doesn't like fighting games. So I want to know what the hell he's going to talk about.
You don't.
I do.
All right.
No, tell me.
All right. My game is WWF No Mercy for the N64.
That's a wrestling game.
It's a fighting game. It's fighting. Let me just find a trailer for this old ass game. Here you go. It's 53 seconds long.
Yeah, we're gonna loop that.
Whatever. So yeah, I played.
This is a YouTube short.
Yeah, I did WWF No Mercy. It came out in the year 2000. It's considered the best wrestling game by most people ever. And let me get some of the stats up for it real quick, just so I can.
Does it have John Cena?
No, it does not.
Damn it! We could have crossed paths. Because my game had John Cena.
How old was John Cena and what year was this? 97, you said?
What? 2000.
Oh, 2000?
Yeah.
How old was John Cena in 2000?
How old was he? Probably 22 or something. I would guess.
Oh.
He
He's
should
probably
have,
wrestling.
he should have been in Ohio Valley close to then, which is their territory where they work on new people. But it was developed by Ace Entertainment and AKI Corporation, and the publisher was THQ. It is probably the best feeling wrestling game that I've played. The newer ones are also good. I just have less experience with it because I'm just not really a modern fan. But it introduced a lot of really cool things, including ladder matches, a backstage brawling, tables, a lot of things that people just expected but never weren't in games at the time. It has an amazing roster, including Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, a bunch of great characters. But it feels just so good. There's grappling, and there's light grappling and heavy grappling. Heavy grappling is a little bit harder to do, but you're able to do stronger, heavier moves like suplexes, backbreakers, and finishers. And the smaller light grapples you can do like more minor throws like hip throws, hip tosses, and submissions. It has a lot of aerial combat, so you can do moves from the turnbuckle. There's not like a ton to say about it, but it's just really, really great. And it's always fun to play the characters that you like. Like me and my friend JD, friend of the show, and our girlfriend, we were in Vegas. We were at like an arcade and played this game because they just had it like as a ROM thing. And I destroyed them in a triple threat match as Triple H, the game, my favorite wrestler. So really classic game, and its legacy is pretty well cemented in wrestling fans' memories. So if you want a good wrestling game, it would be No Mercy 2000. It's still fun today. I played it recently.
Can you do a Royal Rumble?
You can, but it's not a legitimate Royal Rumble. So the normal rules for Royal Rumble is every 90 seconds another wrestler comes to the ring. Unfortunately, at this time, the game could not handle more than 4 players at the same time. So it becomes more of an elimination of when you get rid of one, another one will come out. So it's not really a Royal Rumble, but it's their attempt at a Royal Rumble. And ironically, there would be a game that came out just a little bit after this on the Dreamcast. Was it a Dreamcast or was it an arcade? It might have been the arcade called Royal Rumble, where they were able to put a lot more people in, but not on this one.
It probably was a Dreamcast.
Compared to real wrestling, which is does this match the level of entertainment?
Oh yeah, this game
like
is
to WWE or something. You know?
This game is super fun to play. I mean, I put many hours with my friends on this one. It's just very arcadey. you can do ladder matches and just like jump off the ladder from the height of it onto people and put people through tables and stuff. It's super, super fun, and the controls are really tight. It has an aiming system, so you can use it by the C buttons, and the C left and C right will toggle which person you're looking at. So if you're doing multi-man matches, it's very, very easy to get who you're trying to get. But yeah, just it's a lot of fun, and any wrestling fan probably would tell you that this is one of the best.
Which one is it?
No Mercy. It's for the N64.
WWF, or just that's the title? No Mercy.
WWF No Mercy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've always heard like the N64 wrestling games are like kind of like peak, when they were at their best.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think Warzone was on it, but I know Attitude was on it, and that is not very good. It's played more like a traditional fighting game. So if you wanted to do like suplexes, you had to do combos while you were in the ring, and nobody likes that game. It also really got good with the WCW game. I can't remember which one. It might have been Revenge. And then the same company did WrestleMania, which is really good. WrestleMania 2000, I should say. But No Mercy is the peak. Is the best that they ever did. And at the time when it was out, everyone was like, they ain't gonna look any better than this. This is the best wrestling games they're ever gonna look. And if you look at them now, they just obviously look like N64 graphics, and they look horrifying.
Yeah, so do they have like those like GoldenEye,
Yes.
like GoldenEye facial models, where they like look ugly, weird and ugly?
Yes, they look horrifyingly
Oh my
bad.
God.
I think the only people that take after them are like Bethesda people, but like specifically in the Royal Rumbles when they come out, it'll like zoom in on their face. It's like, don't. It's like, why do that? It looks so bad.
Oh. Yeah, I owned Ready to Rumble Boxing back in the day, and even back then it looked horrible. His eyes here and here.
Yeah.
That was the charm of like realistic visuals back in those days. Even N64, PS1, it's like it wasn't doable.
Yeah, I think Zelda. I'm thinking about games where they didn't look bad, and Zelda did it right, where it was just very like simple faces and more cartoony.
Well, they like still, it's like anything stylized like that. But I mean, a lot of the platformers back then were stylized. Like a lot of the stylized games hold up pretty well. But any of the games, like even like Resident Evil and stuff, PS1, Tomb Raider, a lot of those games the character models look horrendous.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what THQ stands for?
No, I have no idea.
It's Toy Headquarters.
Oh, there you go.
You're welcome.
What do modern wrestling games not do as well?
I think they're played more as they just have like a lot of buttons. They're still good. They're not bad or anything.
That was the ultimate grandpa statement
right
there.
I know. It's just like, they're just hard for me because like
there's just a lot
Special
of
guest
buttons.
I Got Kings.
It's like a lot of like when you have them, like they're more simulation and less arcadey, and I can appreciate that, but it's like picking up the guy and then press triangle, and then while you're pushing triangle, press R1. And you can do a thing, and if you're doing R1 and R2 at the same time, and then press X, it's like, whoa, dude. I just want to hit the guy with a chair. Like that's literally all I came here for. Like, can we just go back to that? But no, they're fine. They're just, and also, I think because WWE is like the only company in town, really. I mean, AEW exists, but their game was trash. They're still working on it, but like. WWE doesn't really have to make a great game, and so the game does not look that good. And it's like they'd have no incentive to make it look good because it's literally the only official like wrestling game in town. So
I haven't even seen them. The only wrestling game I've seen recently was like, remember that like Nintendo Direct during the pandemic? Where they were like, it's a partner Direct. It was like a first one of those.
Battlegrounds or something.
Yeah, they showed that damn Battlegrounds game, and they were like little chibi a little chibi John Cena came out and like fucking did a little spin or something. I was like, what? Nintendo, stop wasting my time. Why am I here?
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, so I don't know what modern wrestling games I really wish I knew because I don't know anything about wrestling, but I did play a wrestling game back in the day on the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I don't know what it was.
Rumble
But
Roses? Oh no, that was on 360.
no, like a licensed wrestling game.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it was.
But like
I couldn't tell you.
obviously from WWE at the time, I would guess.
Yeah, one of those. I think my dad had it, and I was just fucking around with it, because it's a game that was in the house, and I was like, whatever.
Do
So,
you guys know why it's called WWE now instead of WWF?
Mm-mm.
Because there's a organization called the World Wildlife Fund, and they sued WWF because they thought that it infringed on their name, and they won. So they had to change their name. So they took advantage of it because Vince McMahon really hates the idea of wrestling, which is kind of ironic, but he would prefer to call it entertainment. So they just changed it to World Wrestling Entertainment, and you're not even supposed to call them wrestlers anymore. You're supposed to call them superstars.
our giraffes don't wrestle. We don't want people thinking our giraffes are wrestling.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. It's kind of bizarre, but yeah.
Superstar. Hey.
All right.
Yeah, quick, Spencer, rate the N64 controller. Go.
Rate it, like give it a number.
Yeah.
Nothing less than 10.
4
Out of
Yeah,
4?
mine's less than
Damn, dude.
out of 10. I like certain elements of it, but it's a little wonky. It's got 3 prongs. What the fuck? And then
Yeah, it does.
the C buttons are too many buttons. Not necessary.
Too many buttons.
That's why Smash Bros on the N64 is his favorite.
This seems
So
like the
many
ultimate.
buttons.
This seems like the ultimate little brother game where you make your little brother use a Mad Catz controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm a twin, so I
Yeah.
never had a little brother issue. It's just brother.
Well, who popped out first?
He did by like a minute.
So you're the little brother. Don't.
Really.
Yeah. If he popped out first, he's older than you technically. By like a second.
Suppose. It was a C-section.
All right, Spencer.
Too.
Okay. Well, Spencer, who's going next?
Well, Teddy is gonna have to go next because he's the only one left. So Teddy, take it away.
Hey, let's go. All right, so you need to pull up a trailer first. So it's called Deadliest Warrior the Game. Not to be confused with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh no. This is based on that fucking TV show.
Yup. Based on a TV show.
Wow, none of us played a Japanese fighting game.
Mine was made by all Japanese people.
Was it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, you said THQ published, so I just figured it was like an American developed game.
Director Hideyuki Iwashita.
Well, fuck me then, Spencer. Jeez.
So I did.
All right, you got it?
Yep.
Let's go back in time to history. That's right, people. We're going to fight with historical figures. It's Deadliest Warrior, the game. Not to be confused with the TV show, which the game is based off of. Deadliest Warrior, the game, was an Xbox 360 Xbox Live Arcade game first, downloadable from the X Shop, not to be confused with the eShop, in July of 2010, and later released on PS3's PSN in 2010. It is fighting at its funnest, simplest, and bloodiest form. It is the essentials, and I love it. It's actually really freaking awesome. This is a game where you can play as one of 8 warrior classes, 11 if you get the DLC. And they are warrior classes from throughout history. And the goal of the show was to figure out which warrior class was the best, which one reigned supreme. And I mean, the concept kind of applies here, although it's really an arcade mode. I think there was an Xbox Live mode back in the day. I didn't mess with that. But the 8 classes are... can do this from memory, or I can find them here. No, I got them. All right, so it is Apache Warrior, centurion, a medieval knight, a ninja, a samurai, a pirate, a Spartan, and a Viking. Which of those classes would you guys pick if you played this?
Pirate. I like pirates.
Pick a Viking.
Yeah, I was also a Viking. These classes are pretty distinct in their styles. So I should also say this is a 3D weapons based fighting game, kind of like I don't know, like your Soul Calibur. And each class has unique perks, like the Centurion, I believe, or the Knight, and even the Viking. They have a shield, and then they have their one-handed weapon. But you could also pick a mid-range weapon. And then you also have a projectile weapon. So like the pirate, he has like kind of an old school revolver and also a bottle of whiskey that he's drinking and a cigar that he's puffing. And the little intro sequences to every match, he's like, "On guard, you scurvy dog." And then the Viking just beats his shield. Goes, I don't know, kind of dumb brute, but I love it. And seeing that every match is awesome. Clearly, it's a little bit of a bare bones game. I mean, they reuse a couple of stages, and there's like these sequences where, you know how like a Street Fighter, I think it's like you beat up the car like in between fights. Well, in this one, you hack away at like carcasses of pigs that are hanging, and can you do it within the time limit? Or also, there's like a really impossible ninja, and you have to beat him in 10 seconds, or you lose your bonus. But you basically just go through each of the 8 warrior classes in the arcade mode and see if you can win. And I had a really good time. I really like playing as the Viking. It's brutal. It's a really brutal game. It's very bloody, very Mortal Kombat-esque. You can see there are like similarities. There's not fatalities, but there's executions. They're very much their own thing. It's not like as excessive as Mortal Kombat, where it's like, you use Scorpion's chain and then it goes like through the ground and through his neck and then he's holding it, ha ha ha. No, but there's like really brutal like decapitations or other moves that you can pull off. It's not too complicated. It's pretty simple as a fighting game, but I really like it. It's very quick. A match can last like 5 seconds. Like you could take somebody down in 4 hits. Actually, when I was playing as the Viking, I would throw my spear and I'd hit the Apache right in the head and it would be an insta-kill. I don't know other fighting games where I've done that and gotten an insta-kill. It happened twice in a row, so I feel sorry for the Apache. That sucks. That class looks like it sucks. Clearly, there's some perks with classes that you can use the shield for, although you can parry with some of the other weapons as well. I suck at fighting games. I don't really know, like, I never have the systems memorized. I have, like, fast attack, powerful attack, and low attack, and projectile. Like, that's all I have memorized. I saw an execution pulled off. I could not figure out how to do it, though. But man, this game is a quick, fun fighting game, and it's just fun to take somebody's leg off and just like see them like squirming on the ground. And I don't know, it makes me feel like accomplished, I guess. I don't know. So it's pretty deadly. Deadliest Warrior, the game.
Did you ever play Bushido Blade?
Ooh.
No, but I just see that it was inspired by that.
Yeah, Bushido Blade was, I guess, a fighting game, but it was very like limb focused, and you could in that game like end fights in like 1 or 2 hits because you just cut off like a limb and then stab them, and like, there's nothing you can do. So it's very much like a very quick fighting game. Unfortunately, I would suspect. I think I remember playing it back in the day. It probably had load times that would make it not so quick because it's a PS1 game.
and that was inspired by Samurai Showdown, which also had similar concept where you could, if you get a few good slashes in certain ways, you could end matches quick. So.
Yeah, I was doing that earlier. I decapitated the samurai, which is, I don't know, pretty fascinating. Seeing his head just roll right off, if you land the right hit. I don't know if the physics are like perfect or anything, but it's a pretty interesting concept, I guess. What I like about it is it really is just focused on the fighting. Like there's no music. Like you could literally just hear cicadas during your match.
Oh wow!
So I don't know. It feels like pretty realistic in that sense. Yeah, there's a little like intro, like theme song that kind of matches the warrior when they roll out, and maybe like something when they're ending. But no, it really just feels like the game. Like that's it.
No, I remember. I never played this one, but I had friends that were obsessed with that show that definitely had this, and I think I saw it at some point. Like watched them play it for a minute. But I was always like, no, guys, we can play like Soul Calibur or something. Like guys, I have like Soul Calibur 4 right here. But but I definitely remember it, and it just hearing the name Deadliest Warrior just takes me back to like a nostalgic point in my life. That point where like channels like Spike TV were putting out these types of shows, and like they were geared at like teenagers and young adults who were, kind of edgelordy a little bit, had a little bit of that vibe to it. But, it was shows like this and Thousand Ways to Die and Answers and stuff that was like, it's just stuff you don't see anymore, that type of content on TV.
This show is like the poster child of like dude bro pseudo intellectual
Dude, bro, machismo
material.
Yeah.
It's like I do a little bit of research on ancient combat. It's like Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah, you watched it.
You know about the Vikings.
It's the same people that would quote episodes of MythBusters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Let me bust this real quick.
I mean, you could tell too, because this is a game of all male classes, like in history. I don't know. You might be able to change them to female. I didn't mess with it.
Well, but there aren't any
more-
good female warriors. They just don't exist.
I'm sure they could get one clan,
Well, they would lose.
Nothing was more annoying than whenever you were watching a movie and they had busted the myth on MythBusters, and the person they were watching it with was like, actually, on MythBusters they said that this was impossible. And I'm like, shut up! I'm trying to watch a movie.
Fun busters.
There is a sequel to this game that I was looking at first that looked pretty interesting, Deadliest Warrior: The Legends, and that one the classes are more focused. Like you could play as like iconic legendary characters in history, like Attila the Hutt or Hun. I'm thinking of Jabba.
The Hutt.
Attila no Bada.
You could play as Jabba the Hutt. You could...
My favorite historical warrior, Jabba the
Hutt. So I don't know, but apparently people prefer this game over that one. So I went with their opinion here.
Okay.
I mean, it is really fun and is competent.
Are you ready for the sequel on Deadliest Warrior?
Yeah.
Liveliest Warrior?
Yeah, Liveliest Warrior. Which characters are you going for? I'm going for the bank teller.
Well, if it's liveliest, wouldn't it be like social influencers duking it out?
Is that what we do? That's
Live
just celebrity
streamers?
deathmatch at that point.
I mean, that's yeah.
You could argue they've had the life sucked out of them.
Sure.
You could. You might do that.
Well, let's just stick with the war classes. I'm a history buff here.
What are the
Not really, but,
DLC?
yeah,
What are the DLC ones?
Yeah, there's like 3 of them, right? They had 3 DLC.
Yeah, there's 3. Rajput, Shaolin Monk, and Zande Tribal Warrior.
Did you say Rod Snyder? Is that what you said?
No, Rob Schneider,
Rob Schneider.
a hot chick.
Yeah, Rob Schneider is
Samurai warrior taking out his sword and putting it in my belly, cutting me up. You guys might be too young for that.
I saw it back in the day.
What was the first
Yeah,
one?
I was wondering about an African tribe because I saw there were none, and also Indian. I didn't even think about that. Rajput, Rajput. But yeah, I guess they were DLC. So.
rank the
This
classes.
is like very European and East Asian, I guess, or Asian. Yeah, East Asian, right? Because they had samurai and ninja,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a Native American one, Apache.
Vikings are the best because Norse mythology is the best. So it's just take that.
Overrated.
And they're just
whatever.
brutal. Like I think the whole like kind of beating your chest and like the strong armor and like the hatchet, like that's a really cool weapon. I don't know, you just hack away. Like I feel like I cleared, and you can't even turn down to easy difficulty in this game. You got to start at normal, and it only goes harder and hardest. But no, I play great as the samurai. I tried the pirate earlier, and the pirate's fun, but not very good with like deflecting attacks. So it exposes him a little more. So I'll take any armor I can get. The samurai also look pretty competent.
If they have a gun, whatever that's called. What's it called? That gun.
like a flintlock
Really?
pistol or something.
Who, the pirate?
Yeah. Has he ever gone?
It was some form of pistol. It's like a long pistol.
Yeah. I always want to call it a filibuster. That's not what it's called. Just
It's
like
not the filibuster.
my brain's always like filibuster, and I'm like, that's not what that is.
Great name for a weapon, but it's not it. Buster Buster.
Guster Buster. No, that was a different episode.
That's Link in Deadliest Warrior, the Nintendo version
Yeah.
crossover.
He kind of did. If you
Yeah.
like several degrees with Soul Calibur.
Only like nobody takes
Yeah.
damage in that fucking game. Even though they're fighting with swords.
Oh yeah, special guest DLC is John Cena.
Oh hell yeah!
Yes!
Crossover. No.
Ironically, you could see John Cena get ripped apart in Mortal Kombat 1.
That little beta, good.
What's your issue with John Cena?
He's a. I just when I see him, I just see like a man who's dead inside. He has like zero light in his eyes. I just kind of get sad.
Whatever, man. If I was on monster trucks and stuff, I'd be living my high life.
Jono Musashina. Which class would he pick in history? What is he? Is he an Apache?
He's a China cuck, so he'd probably pick one of the China ones.
There are no China ones. They're all Japan. Well, not all, but the two that are Asian.
Yeah, China didn't have
Decision.
anybody. There's no warriors from China.
There are no Chinese warriors that are
Yeah,
the deadliest warrior in
they
history.
should have done like, well, he said monk. What's the monk from?
Oh yeah, I guess that'll count. The Shaolin monk.
Yeah, that's Chinese. That counts.
Yeah, he'd be a.
Well, I guess he is in the DLC
Dumb
then.
monk.
He would come out in the monk uniform.
Yeah.
Shit. John Cena, a monk, you know. Namaste. Sure, John
Oh
Cena.
yeah, maybe he'd be the Indian class, the Rajput.
Maybe.
Vikings rule. Pirates are cool too.
Pirates
Dude,
are
the
cool.
freaking the Centurion, like the second playable character, like you scroll through the characters. He has the derpiest looking face, like straight out of Xbox era, like Fable or something. When you see like a dumb looking face.
Well, I
He's
imagine,
like-
because I imagine it's like it was a lower budget game where it was an Xbox Live game. So I imagine it was like not living up to the full potential of the 360.
Everyone else covers it up because of a mask or like face paint or something, but the Centurion suffers. And I mean, he has like a helmet, but you can see most of the face.
Oh, does like the samurai have like the armor? Have like the like the Shogun armor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. There's no
It's fun.
Mongolian.
It's fun for $10. I liked it.
Oh yeah, this should be Mongolians, dude.
Yeah, dude.
The Mongols, where are they?
Yeah, that's the class I would pick.
Because it'd be the Mongols versus the Vikings in a battle of who can rape harder.
Yeah.
That would be tricky.
What's
That's
the
a mini
difference?
game.
Not an Xbox game. Have to stay tuned for the sequel. Deadliest Rapist.
In all honestly though, like this era, like the Deadliest Warrior, I never really liked the show that much, but like I think it was just because like there was such a meme, like there were certain meme things kind of embedded in the internet back then. Like one of them was like, haha, mustaches and bacon. One of them was the pirates versus ninjas was such a huge meme back
Yeah.
then. That I was like,
They
first time I
mentioned it here,
heard, yeah. First time I heard Deadliest Warrior, I was like, they made a show out of that stupid fucking meme.
Well,
on the internet.
yeah, I remember that going around. But pirates specifically, like, aren't pirates to me seems more like a lifestyle and less of like a combat situation.
Yeah, they're not really warriors. They're not really like trained warriors. They're just assholes.
They're just they are. They're just they're literally just assholes of the sea.
Assholes on a boat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
they'll pillage your village, like they're not here to fuck around either.
Yeah, but
and
like-
terrorize
like
and
a-
drink all your booze. And
Yeah, like a ninja or even like a Viking had to go through some sort of training, right?
Yeah, they're like
The fuck do you do as a
martially
pirate?
talented, whereas a pirate like shoots people and throws flames at like shoots cannonballs at people.
That's why I like it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
why I
it's-
chose
it's
pirate.
about
That's why I
the
like
era.
it. It's just-
Wait, what?
How do you think
What's
the U.S. was made?
what with on the labor of black people?
Yeah.
They should have just
Well,
used like
on
modern.
Yeah, I mean, but they sailed on seas and then they took over. I mean, they're the modern day pirate, you know.
Well, those
mean, there
are
are
those
pi- I
aren't
mean, I
those aren't
can't-
those are warriors that came by boat. They're
Yeah.
not pirates. Pirates are
Exactly.
people that
Yeah.
float in uncharted waters and then cause
Okay.
havoc.
I,
So it's
I
about
can't think
legality that makes them the piracy.
I can't think of modern pirates without thinking of that fucking movie, the Tom Hanks movie. What's that movie called? Captain
Castaway?
something.
It's
No. It's like the more modern one where he was like the captain of a boat. It's like a true story where he was a captain of a boat that got like taken over by pirates. And there's that meme from that movie that goes, "Look at me, I am the
I
captain
am
now."
the captain now. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I think of. Whenever I think of modern pirates, I just see that scene in my head.
I am the captain.
I am the captain now. Yes, you are, buddy. Well,
Okay, well, that's it. It was a
Audience at home.
fight talk.
because it's no surprise we do another game talk mid-month now. So I just want everybody at home, if you're disappointed by the lack of Japanese fighting games, not wrestling, Spencer.
That's a fighting game. What else is
That's
it?
not a damn fighting. Okay, you know what? If this was my month, which it isn't, which is why I didn't say anything, I would have disqualified you.
What? How is wrestling not fighting?
That's a
In
sport.
Street Fighter, isn't Zangief like a wrestler?
Yeah, but he's just one archetype of many.
Okay, what if I picked MMA? That's wrestling. UFC?
I guess.
You have a narrow
know.
view. You need to broaden
There's just
your
no.
horizons.
The line is just that's not a fighting game to me. That's still not a fighting game to me. But that's okay.
It's a sports game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrestling is not fighting?
It's a sport. It's a sports game.
Okay, don't these people in Mortal Kombat do like Taekwondo and stuff? Is that a sport or is that fighting?
It's martial arts, but I mean,
But MMA is called mixed martial arts.
I don't see actual people in martial arts launching fireballs out of their hands and ripping skulls out of people's bodies.
Did you not pick Mortal Kombat as your game?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, that's what. Yeah, it's like more fun and fantasy.
I'm poking a lot of holes through your thing. I don't think you could really hold a
No.
candle to me.
I don't. I think wrestling and fighting games are different things, but we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, thanks for fighting, guys.
We were. You just witnessed
yeah.
one.
Put in the
The
comments
live
below
fight.
who's correct here. I think everyone
No,
will
that's not.
say
No,
that
you're not
Spencer
going to
is
do
correct.
that. Don't do that because there's a bunch of. You're all wrestling fans, so it's not like there's not going to be an actual evaluation of the genre. It's going to be like, no, wrestling totally counts, bro. That's what it's going to be.
Alex doesn't think wrestling is fighting, so let's put it in the comments.
It's not
below.
a fighting game. By the genre, you wouldn't call fucking Gran Turismo a kart racer. Yes, it's racing, but it's a different game. It's a different genre.
Well, to me, when you say fighting game, it's anything where there's combat, like hand to hand or whatever kind of combat, and it's like, well, okay, wrestling is combat. It's a lot of brawling and the punching and everything.
That's a. I don't know. Walking a fine line with that one, I guess.
So did you intend for this? Well, now obviously it's Teddy's month, but was the intention that it was supposed to be a 1v1 tournament style fighting game month? Because that was the case. Our game talk is Super Smash Brothers. Map out is Super Smash Brothers, which is also not a fighting game in that realm, and is actually more of a sumo game. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of challenges I'm going to throw your way if that's what you're going to base it all off of.
It's not my month. That's all I have to say.
I like wrestling. I don't know. I'm not that picky, so whatever. Okay. Well, you guys hype up some future content?
Yeah. Get ready for the Smash Bros. Map out. We're gonna learn who everybody's spirit character is. And it's not your favorite character; it's the one you're most like. Spencer, Spencer, Spencer? That's an obscene gesture.
No, it's not.
Spencer, don't-
Mine isn't curved like this. It's curved like that.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out if are you like alluding to your spirit character?
Mm-hmm.
Who it is? Is it? Okay, hold on.
Captain Falcon.
Oh wait, hold on.
No.
And like you have to.
Although I could
you
beat your
throw a
ass,
Harry
Pokemon-
Potter.
Falcon.
So like
Ron
he's,
Weasley.
So like he's doing. So like you throw a Pokeball, Jigglypuff.
Did you throw a Pokeball behind you? What is that?
Me, I'm skilled. The Pokemon's behind me. You know.
No, it's from the first N64 one. Come on.
Okay.
Game and Watch for flipping the bacon.
Yoshi.
Game & Watch is not from the first one.
Yoshi.
What? Isn't Game & Watch the like final unlockable character?
No,
Where's the
no,
Ness?
no. That's
Luigi,
Melee.
Jiggly, Captain Falcon, and Ness. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go Luigi.
How is this Luigi? Why do you get Luigi?
He's cursing at Mario.
Listen
He's
to
really
him going like
pissed.
this. What is that sound?
Simon
Pikachu.
Belmont?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. No.
Yeah.
You guys don't know. It's Ness. Ness is my boy. This is
Donkey
Yo-Yo.
Kong. You were beating. You were hammering the ground like Donkey Kong.
It's Yo-Yo.
This is a different kind of Ness. That's P Ness.
Dude, you just shredding the guitar.
Shredding my penis.
Dude, you're so obscene with your guitar.
Well, the hype.
Hey, bye.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.